Hello and welcome to the Fervent Four. Did you know that only 4% of businesses ever cross the annual $1 million revenue mark? Hello, I'm Zack Miller, author of Anomaly. With me today, I'm my co-host Tim Ryan, lead man at StartWheel.org. Thank you so much for joining us. The Fervent Four is a weekly show each and every Thursday at 11 a.m. dedicated to sharing insights into growing a world-class business. Today, we are delighted and so happy. Happy. Punny? Was that? No. Happy to have Caitlin with us today of Happily. What's happening?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here today. Thanks for having me, everybody.
Happy happening. You know, like, let's see how many of these we can put in there. Like, Tim, there's this show that my wife watches with Andy Cohen, who's very underrated as a businessman, by the way. Caitlin, this is not how I was going to start this, but like, there's this drinking game where, like, if they say someone's name, it's called, it's like an after show of his shows. He does like all like the Bravo shows, like Real Housewives and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so they have like guests on it, like afterwards, like Jimmy Fallon would. And if they say a specific word, you're supposed to drink at it. So every time we say happy, people can drink. They can drink their coffee. They can drink their water. They can drink their Gatorade. They can drink whatever they want. So every time we say something that has hap in it.
Yeah, I love it. I think that'll stick.
You had mentioned before we jumped on air that we have the funnest job, and part of that fun job that Zack and I do after the show to keep ourselves happy is we also have a drinking game as well. When people tend to forget to add attachments to emails, that we will also take a make-believe drink as well. But it's the little things.
Those are make-believe drinks?
Oh, well,
anyway,
for the purpose of the show.
Those
are the things. Those are things we do to stay happy, and the show is all about being happy. So thanks for joining us.
So these are always interesting shows because sometimes Tim knows the guest, sometimes I know the guest, and sometimes neither of us know the guest. This is one of those shows where we don't know anything about you really. So this is going to be an exciting hour. This is going to be a lot of fun. Are you from the 757? Like what's the quick Caitlin story?
Grew up in New York, went to UVA undergrad, played lacrosse there, moved to DC because you moved to a major city for a job. And then my husband and I moved to Jackson Hole, Wyoming a few years ago. And about 6 months ago, we came to Virginia, and it's been amazing. We got into the 757 Accelerate program, and it's been a gift in all ways. So we're so happy to be here.
What part of New York?
Long Island.
Okay.
What was it? DC, Northern Virginia, Baltimore? Like, what was it?
DC. Yeah.
Wow. See, most people, so I grew up in Northern Virginia. I say DC. People usually lie about it. They're like, oh, yeah, I'm from DC because it's easy from, I guess, a geographical standpoint.
Right.
Because not a ton of people actually live in DC proper. So that's interesting. Is he in the military? Is that why you guys were moving a lot or no?
No, we just, I worked in executive search in the software space my whole career before starting Happily. And so we were lucky to be able to live wherever. And we reached a point when our daughter was born that we wanted a little bit more balance in life and access to the outdoors. So we moved to Jackson, and it's been amazing. We still spend the winter there. We've got great friends there, but we kind of have best of both worlds, getting to be in Virginia, closer to family, closer to the businesses we serve. And the ecosystem here of business support has been just mind-blowingly fantastic.
What that journey with that previous life, is that what has started your idea for the business? So like, what's the background of that? How did you decide that, hey, I want to do Happily?
Yeah. I mean, I was really tired, and that's the crux of all things, right? When you're dealing with a problem that you're experiencing and figuring out how do you solve it for yourself, and then realize maybe there's an opportunity to solve that for others. I was working in executive search. I was traveling a lot. I was a partner at $1 billion consulting firm, and they had a lot of benefits. And what I found when I was struggling with kind of balancing my family life and work and trying to be awesome in all things was that the benefits that we had weren't actually solving my everyday pain. And my everyday pain was like, how can I take the time outside of work and make sure that's awesome, and that I'm doing things that align with our values in terms of outdoor active lifestyle, and do that without spending hours doing research. And so we started talking with HR leaders that were already our customers in my old world and saying, hey, like, are your benefits working? Like, what do people like? What do they not like? And we actually ended up co-developing a solution that's all about how you support working parents. And that is how the Happily Dream came true.
Fascinating.
Very exciting. Very, 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 very. I don't know. I was trying to be funny again. This is
very happy.
Yeah. So corporate world versus startup world. Like, are there any glaring differences, glaring things that you immediately have seen? Like, because a lot of people talk about, oh, I don't want to work in the rat race of being in that place. Like, what are your thoughts on kind of the big differences between corporate versus startup world?
I believe that every season of life offers something of value. And for me, like, working in a corporate environment was a gift. I learned so much. I met incredible people, and this being in a startup and starting this company would never be possible without that background. So I loved that season, and I'm loving this season as well.
So were you able to, so one of the things that I think that a lot of people fall short with is interviewing the customer, potential customers. So is it with part of your previous job, is that something that you were able to do, was, talk to people that were looking for jobs and kind of take an inventory of, hey, what is it that's gonna, are you not happy? What's going to make you happy? And did that help you formulate what your business is today?
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for anybody that had to sit next to me at a dinner party over the last 3 years, because this is all I talk about. And I'm obsessed with what people's challenges are and then how we could build something that really supported them. So I was lucky to do that just in everyday life. I certainly tapped into my network of HR leaders and of executives and really got to know the problem beyond my own pain. And they're all to thank for us being able to build something that is applicable across a broad spectrum of people. So it's been a really fun journey.
Wow.
And we're still learning.
And how long are you into the journey?
So I left my day job about 1.5 years ago.
Wow.
And you had said, so you did this with them in some sort of way? Did you?
No. So I didn't do this with my old company.
Okay.
When I say that co-develop, I talked the HR leaders that were the people that we now are our customers. They gave us the feedback to help us build this. So I didn't just go into a vacuum and say, hey, I'm going to build this thing that I think will work to support working parents. We did a ton of customer interviews. A couple of the CHROs agreed to do pilots with us so that we could get real-time feedback. And I'll give you an example. We actually work with Korn Ferry today, who's my old employer. I've got great friends there, and they're huge supporters of what we're doing. But they said to us, we'll try this out, but I want you to add a volunteer concierge to the platform. We want to help, in addition to people finding activities and things to do with their families, we want you to make it easier for them to volunteer and have service opportunities. And so we built that out because of their feedback.
Who's been directly involved within the startup community for almost a decade, I want to talk to you about a serious pain point: spending a ton of time trying to understand the business landscape in the 757. That's time that should be focused on growing the business. At StartWheel, we're here to help you by compiling all of the news you need to know about in one place. Now there's no need to search multiple websites. Just head to startwheel.org and see for yourself. That's startwheel.org.